everyone, welcome back to my take on college life and just being a young adult in general. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to pick courses. When you first start your collegiate journey, one of the first things you need to know is what classes you're taking for the first semester. And this can be a little challenging because when you first get into those orientation sessions or those sessions where you start registering for courses, when you first get into your university, you don't really know how to navigate picking courses and what courses you need and what are required and what courses you may not necessarily need to take. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about that and just how to navigate those areas in terms of picking courses. So the first thing I want to talk about is try to find your university's bulletin or course catalog. During my time at CMU, there was a bulletin that had every course that CMU offered, as well as the degree programs, which I'll talk about a little bit, and any other requirements you may need for your program. GVSU, where I'm attending right now, Grand Valley State University, there is a course catalog, which is similar to CMU's bulletin that shows the courses you may need pertaining to your major. So I highly recommend trying to find this before your orientation session. Maybe you can get some insight on what you could be taking, what you need for your major if you have any idea, as well as any other classes that you may be interested in. Looking at this catalog or bulletin will give you an idea of what courses are out there at your university. You can usually find this on the website, or you can actually just call either the admissions office and they will guide you to where, or like advising, they'll give you an advisor and maybe someone to help you figure out where these courses may be laid out somewhere. I also want to talk about laying out what you may need to take for your degree. So there's usually a lot of requirements when it comes to what you need to take at a university. So for example, there are different requirements such as general education requirements, degree requirements, major and minor requirements. And these terms you may hear a lot when you're going throughout your collegiate journey and trying to take those courses. So first thing I would recommend when you finally find these, either the bulletin or the course catalog, is to look for those requirements that may be outside of your degree. So like I said, those general ed requirements, they usually will have an English requirement, a math requirement. They'll have you take a lab, maybe one or two labs. Maybe they'll have something aligned with writing or writing intensive courses were offered at CMU. Maybe there's some requirement pertaining to that course or those types of courses, and you need to take a certain amount to fulfill those requirements. Look out for these. They will sneak up on you and you may not be able to graduate because you missed one of these small requirements that your university may be having you to take. Same thing with your general, with your degree requirements. Make sure you look at these. These are also outside of your major. So this is kind of like when you go for, let's say you're taking or you want to major in biology, you'll usually have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering. There's going to be courses and requirements you may need to fulfill under that degree requirement. So your degree would be a Bachelor's of Science in Engineering. There's classes that you and requirements that you need to do to fulfill that. And then on a different branch, there'll be major requirements, and then you will take all those biology courses you may need. So that's just an example of different requirements that you may need to look out for. This is a lot, and I highly recommend, like I said before, going through your course bulletin, going through your course catalog, get familiar with your program, know what you need to take before you get into that session with your advisor, and they guide you through what you need to be taking. Now, speaking of advisors, I highly recommend using them. They give you a good insight of what you need to take. As I said before, maybe they will also guide you through how to navigate your course catalog depending on your university, or the bulletin. They'll give you great insight on how to look at that and what everything means in terms of university. While I say they are helpful, sometimes they can misguide you. I will say that for a fact. They have a lot of students they need to take care of. They have a lot of requirements they need to know. And sometimes people make mistakes and they might fumble a little bit. So I highly recommend going through it on your own, seeing what you can do to plan out your schedule before you go and see your advisor, and then say, hey, this is what I think I should be doing? Is this correct? Is this wrong? Can you help me guide me to what I missed, what I need to add, what I need to change? This is very helpful for advisors. It gives them kind of an outline of what you want to do instead of going in blind saying, hey, this is kind of what I want to do. Can you help me through it? Of course, they'll help you, but having that guide, having a plan before you go into your first advising session will help them a lot. And then after it, I always tell people to double check, make sure that what they gave you, the information that they gave you is correct. Because like I said, people are human, people make mistakes. So I always recommend double checking to making sure everything that they advise you to do, any advice they gave you, make sure that is correct. The next point I want to talk about in terms of courses is you don't need to go in order anymore. After high school, you don't need to follow that course order. So let's say your last course in your senior year was pre-calculus. That doesn't necessarily mean you need to take calculus your first semester as a freshman. Depending on your degree, you don't need to take those hard courses anymore. So if you're biology, obviously you're going to have to take biology. If you're in math or some sort of engineering, you may be required to take those types of courses. But let's say you're in fine arts and you're just like an English major, you don't need to take calculus anymore. Or let's say you're majoring in Spanish, you don't need to take calc, you don't need to take biology. Now, like I said, there are usually math, English, and science requirements under those general eds or those basic courses that the university wants you to take, but you don't necessarily have to take those hard sciences. You can take fluff courses or easy courses. So let's say you're really good at algebra. You could take an algebra course to fulfill that math requirement. You don't need to take calculus. Let's say you have to take a science. Let's say you were never really good at any of the sciences, but you've been really interested in astronomy. Take that astronomy class. You don't need to take physics. You don't need to take chemistry. It all depends on what you want to do, what's your purpose, and what you desire to do at the university. So like I said, you don't need to go in order anymore. Just have fun, explore, see what classes you can take to fulfill those requirements, but you don't need to go in that basic core course order anymore that you had to do in high school. You can go on, do what you want to do, have fun. And speaking of fun, I always recommend people to explore as many things, as many courses that may interest you. Every institution has so many courses that are just sitting there waiting for people to enroll. And some of them are just fun and may interest you. For example, I wanted to take Japanese, and that was a language I was super interested in, and I needed a requirement to fulfill, and Japanese did that for me. So I decided to take the course, and I took it for about a year, and I really enjoyed that. So that's just an example of just courses that you could take for fun, subjects that you may be interested in that you could go and take, and you could help fulfill those requirements that you may have under your degree, general eds, major minor requirements, or electives that you may need. So like I said, always have fun, enjoy your course, enjoy your time at the university. Take as many courses as you need to fulfill those requirements. Have fun, find things that you're interested in, and you might even find a new passion, a new career that you may be interested in. So I highly recommend just taking courses that spark your interests and just intrigue you a little bit. So that's my take on how to pick college courses. Like I said before, go into that bulletin, look and see what courses you need to take for your requirements. If you have an idea of a major, see what courses are out there that you may be interested in. Talk to your advisors, see what they can do to guide you, but have a plan if you can before you go and talk to them to give them an outline of what you're interested in. You don't need to go in that order anymore. Have fun. If you don't need to take those calculus, biology, physics courses, don't. And like I said before, have fun, explore, find something you're interested in. So that's my take. Please come to the next episode to find out more about college life and being a young adult in general. Thank you so much. Bye.